Good evening and namaste. Welcome to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. And today we are here for our Hatha Mondays here, where we're doing our Hatha Yoga just to get ourselves nice and chillaxed from the day, getting ready to relax ourselves into bedtime. And as you can see, it is a glorious sunny day here, and you might hear some noises of the outside world. I do have my windows open, letting some air in. So as always, let's get ourselves started. Let's find ourselves seated on the mat here. And today's flow, we're going to be focusing on doing a lot of chest opening moves, a lot of heart opening, if you will. So if you are into opening up that heart chakra, today is that day. So let's find ourselves seated, sitting in an easy seat, switching the legs around as always. And let's spread the flesh from the sits bones away from our tailbone so that we can find ourselves nice and properly held here. Let's inhale, rolling the shoulders up and back, relaxing the chest down, finding ourselves settling over our tailbone here. And let's just take a moment to breathe deeply and ground ourselves before we get started in class. And I hope you've taken the time today to set up your yoga space as I have. I have a lovely aromatherapy going on in the background here that just smells delightful. So I hope you have all of your accoutrements and your props ready for class this evening. And as always, I invite you to set an intention for class. My intention for class personally is to lead you all through a very heart-opening, relaxing Hatha Yoga flow, and that we can all enjoy this evening as we get ready to wind the night down. Excellent. So take a moment here to set your own intentions. Excellent. Now let's get started. Let's take our hands, inhale them up into the air. Let's exhale, bring our hands down into prayer pose. And you may keep your eyes open or closed for this. My eyes just shut on will. Let's go ahead and clap our hands 3 times, rubbing our hands together. Let's release, placing our right hand over our heart and our left hand on our belly. Let's just start with some gentle breathing into the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do 5 of these breaths. And our last breath, take an inhale, filling up the chest and the belly. Exhale, draining all the air. Excellent. Now with our hands in this spot, I'd like for you to send yourself love emanating from your chest. Allow it to circulate through your body, feeling the energy recycle once it hits your hand, your left hand here over your belly. Just allow that love you have for yourself to swirl through your body. Breathing into our heart chakra. Allow that energy to expand, glowing emerald green, adding a little bit of green to our personal auras as we settle into our class this evening. Breathing, just hold here for just a moment. Excellent. Let's take our hands, rubbing them together in front of our face. Let's place them over our eyes, awakening the body, granting ourselves a good class. Excellent. Extending overhead if you like. Let's rest our hands on our knees. Let's start by rolling out that neck. Let's start by shaking our head. No. With each nod, turn the head. See if you can get just a little bit wider. Being gentle as we go. Excellent. Slow ourselves down here back to the center. Let's start to nod yes. Excellent. Nodding the head yes. Now let's begin to just rotate the head around to the right. Inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we look down. Slowing it down, let's go ahead and repeat the opposite direction. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Let's slow our head down to center. Inhale those hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, dropping that right ear to that right shoulder, sending our left hand at 45 degrees, using our right palm here to stretch out our arm. Let's breathe 5 breaths. After our last inhale, let's exhale that head forward, looking over to the side. Let's drop our chin down to our chest here on an angle to our armpit almost, pulling it down just gently with our right hand. 5 breaths. Fuzzy. Let's take our last exhale as we inhale up our hands to a T. Let's turn our head back to the center, dropping our left ear this time to the left side, using that left palm to pull it down, dropping our shoulders, dropping our right arm at a 45-degree angle. Hold here for 5 breaths. Let's inhale, bringing our head up again once more. Let's turn to face the left, dropping that chin down to the chest armpit area there, gently pulling it down with the left palm, keeping that right arm at a 45-degree angle. Go ahead and breathe. Let's exhale, bringing our hands back down to our knees, releasing the head there, rolling it out. Let's slow ourselves down, begin to roll the shoulders up and back. Excellent. Slow down, roll our shoulders the opposite direction, forward and down. Let's keep ourselves sitting up nicely here as we send our arms out into a T, stretching our chest forward, dropping our head back. Let's send our head back up as we send our right arm overhead, dropping the arm down the back, using the left to stretch out that arm there on the side. Whew. Keep breathing as we send our right arm around the back this time, grabbing our wrist, exhaling, dropping that left ear to that left shoulder, opening up the top of the shoulder. Let's inhale, bringing our head up and our arms out to a T. Let's exhale, sending that right arm over, giving ourselves a little bit of a hug, turning to face the opposite direction here, twisting the shoulder from the back. Excellent. Let's drop our arms, shaking out our hands. Slowing that down, let's send our left arm up and over, using our right palm to send that palm down the back here, stretching out the side. Let's release that arm as we send it around the back of the body, grabbing the wrist, dropping the right ear, the right shoulder, extending that top of that neck there. Excellent. Release. Sending the left arm to the front, this time hugging ourselves, facing the left, giving into a subtle twist. Excellent. Let's release our arms and shoulders. Let's find ourselves coming into all fours here. Come into a gentle all fours position here. Tabletop, your basic tabletop. Keep your knees hip width apart. Let's keep our palms and wrists and elbows underneath our shoulders, turning our shoulders facing front. Let's inhale as we slowly roll that pelvis up, dropping that belly, filling up with air, sending our head back, coming into cow pose. Let's exhale, scooping the belly, dropping the head, sending the shoulders down from the ears, coming into cat pose. Let's do this here for a few breaths. Inhale, looking up, cow. Exhale, curling in cat. Let's keep going here. 3 more breaths. Excellent. Last breath. Inhale, filling the belly all the way up as full as you can get it. Exhale, curling ourselves, arching that back, keeping the ears down. Excellent. Let's find ourselves here in neutral spine. Readjust if you needed. Let's inhale. This time, let's take our right hand, sending it underneath the left. Exhale as we place our face down on the floor, coming into that thread needle. Let's hold here. Let's take our last inhale, and after we exhale, let's find ourselves coming back into tabletop. This time switching sides, replacing the left with the right, exhaling, coming down into thread the needle. Hold here for 5 breaths. Let's take our last inhale and exhale, finding ourselves up, back into tabletop. Walk the hands slightly forward here. Let's take a deep inhale. As we exhale, let's just drop our chest, keeping our bottoms up in the air, coming into puppy pose, extended. This is wonderful extended pose here, opening up that chest. Melting heart is also what it's called in yin yoga. Let's just hold here, allowing our body to soften, placing the chin to the mat or on a block if that's more within your practice today. Breathe into this pose. Let's take one more inhale in this pose. And after our exhale, let's find ourselves dropping our bottoms to the mat, bringing our arms around, allowing ourselves here in just a moment. Have a little bit of a variation of a rabbit pose here. If you'd like, you can extend yourself up, coming onto the top of your head here. But we're just going to hold here for a minute, breathing into this pose. Relaxing the stress from the day. Sending love and forgiveness to ourselves and to our fellow humans, because sometimes Mondays are a bit much for all of us. Breathing in. And let's take our last inhale and exhale in this pose. And after your exhale, let's find ourselves coming to standard. Let's face each other standing broadside on the mat here. So we're just going to face forward on this long ways on the mat, finding ourselves centering on the mat, keeping ourselves in a mountain pose here. Feet hip width apart. Let's keep our pelvis in a neutral tilt, shoulders up and back, chest closed and down over those rib points. Holding ourselves here, let's inhale, sending those arms up overhead, arching all the way back. Let's clasp our hands as we exhale, dropping our hands over to the right side. Let's turn our face over to the left here as we open up our body with our side bend, standing side bend. Inhale, sending ourselves up to the center. Exhale, let's turn over our face to the right as we drop to the left here. Excellent. Inhale, bringing ourselves back up to center. Exhale, taking a step out with the right or the left, coming into our goddess pose. Let's inhale, straightening those arms. Let's turn the right foot out to face the right, sending those hips to the left. Exhaling, bringing our hands down to the foot, ankle, arm mat, or a block, coming into triangle pose. Let's inhale, coming up halfway, adjusting our feet so that we're both facing towards the right. Exhale, placing the hands down, head to knee, or pyramid pose. Let's inhale, adjusting our step, taking a step back with that left foot, exhaling, dropping the knee, coming down into low lunge. Let's inhale, straightening that front leg, curling those back toes. Let's turn ourselves, balancing on the right foot, coming into Skandasana on the right. Let's inhale, sending that left foot to the mat, placing our hips up into the sky, heel toe a little bit in, keeping those toes pointed out. Let's exhale, coming into Malasana. If you're familiar with the next sequence of a moon salutation, let's go to Chandra Namaskar. Let's inhale, sending our hips up to the sky, dropping over to the left, peeling those right toes, coming into Skandasana on the left. Excellent. Let's turn and face ourselves to the left here as we drop that right knee. Inhale, coming up, low lunge. Let's exhale, placing that hands down on the mat, curling those toes, straightening that right foot. Let's fixing our stance here. Let's come into our pyramid pose. Inhale, taking a step, opening up the body. Exhale, coming into our triangle pose. Inhale, turning the left foot up as we come into our 5-pointed star. Exhale, goddess pose. Let's take a step together as we inhale. Exhale, our hands together, coming into prayer. Excellent. Let's adjust ourselves as needed. Do it one more time. Starting from the top, inhale those hands up. Let's exhale, dropping to the left. Inhale, exhale to the right. Taking an inhale, let's step open, coming into our goddess pose. Straightening up, let's turn the feet. Exhale, coming into our pyramid or triangle pose. Inhale, fixing our stance, head to knee, pyramid pose here. Exhale. Inhale, stepping back. Let's keep our legs straight and up this time, coming into our crescent pose. Turn ourselves to face the front as we exhale, dropping that leg, curling up into Skandasana, right side. Sending the hips up into the air, heel toe. Exhale, Malasana. Let's inhale, placing our hands on the mat. Exhale, dropping over Skandasana to the left. Let's turn ourselves facing over to the left side this time, keeping that right leg up. Exhale, crescent pose. Inhale as we bring our feet together, coming into our halfway forward fold. Inhale, turning out that right foot. Exhale, coming down, triangle pose. Turning to the front, let's finish off with our goddess pose. Inhale, coming into prayer pose. Excellent. Now that we're all warmed up, let's find ourselves seated on the mat to get started. And I'm just going to take a quick drink of water. And let's find ourselves coming into easy pose once more. Spreading the flesh of the sits bones. Let's not adjust the legs, keeping the legs the way they are as we were adjusted the first time we were sitting. Let's find our hands into the lotus mudra. So what you want to do is take your hands, spreading the fingers, placing the palms together, and the pinky and the thumb. So you want your hands to look a little bit like you're holding a bit of a trophy. Let's inhale, sending our shoulders back and down, keeping our rib points over our hip points, having the fingers outstretched. Let's just hold here for 5 breaths. Breathing our intention, using our breath, inhaling to take in the love energy from the universe, exhaling, feeding in our own aura and energetic union around our body. Let's breathe with intention, sending intentions to growing our love chakra, our heart chakra, our anahata, letting it grow from the chest. Keep breathing, holding this pose. 3 more breaths. Maybe take this time to reset some affirmations or say some affirmations to yourself that may have to do with love. I can give you one here if you'd like. I send love and light to myself and others. Excellent. And after this last exhale, let's release. Letting our hands, palms open, gently float to our knees. Allowing ourselves to take in that wonderful loving energy of the universe. Excellent. Let's find ourselves scooting back a little bit on the mat here. We're going to come into our Lord of the Fishes pose. Let's take that left foot, find it close. You can either extend yourself, and I'll actually show you what it looks like extended here. Extend that left leg. Actually, let's all extend our left leg. Extend our left leg here. Let's take our right, lifting it, placing it over the left, coming as close to the bottom as you possibly can. We want to keep our knee up in the air as we inhale our hands up. Let's turn to face you guys so you can see me. Let's turn and face the right side using that left elbow to push the left knee over as we come into the seated twist. Keep your chest open and out, breathing deeply here. Let's breathe into this twist, opening up our hips. And if you'd like, you can even adjust yourself to keep your leg down if this is more of your speed today. Absolutely. If you'd like to fully extend, you can go ahead and cross those legs all the way in, coming into our Lord of the Fishes. But let's breathe here for 5 breaths. Opening ourselves, sending our chest open and proud to the sky. Getting a good stretch in our piriformis. Let's keep holding air for 3 more breaths. Seeing if you can turn a little bit deeper each time. And after our last exhale, take 1 more deep inhale in this pose and exhale ourselves forward, untwisting ourselves from the pose here. Let's do that once more, keeping the leg extended. It's a little hard in front of me. I do have my props in front of me, so I'll sit on an angle here. Let's keep our left leg this time extended, placing the right, no, I'm sorry, the right leg extended this time, placing the left over here. Inhale those arms up to the sky. Let's turn to twist using our elbows, pushing ourselves out to the side, coming into our Lord of the Fishes pose. And breathe into this gentle twist, opening up the chest. Let's exhale, allowing ourselves to gently untwist, but keeping ourselves in this twisting pose as we're just a little bit of a warm-up for our cow face pose. Now, cow face is just about the same as Lord of the Fishes, except we're stacking our knees. Stacking your knees is not in your practice today. See if you can keep your legs as tightly crossed as possible and keep your arms into the cow face move. So let's get ourselves into this, keeping that right leg. Let's stack our left knee over our right leg. Let's bring our arms together. Right under left, placing the palms together if you can, or just touching the fingertips. Let's inhale, sending those shoulders up to parallel. Exhale, hold here and breathe. Let's release, shaking out our arms, shaking out our shoulders, shaking out our legs. Let's twist our body once more, coming into 1 more gentle twist here. Stacking the knees this time right under left. A left under right. Oh my goodness. Sending the left under the right arm this time with the arms coming into our cow face pose, keeping those arms parallel. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Let's release, shaking everything out here, extending the legs, turning to face the short side of the mat now, extending the legs out. Excellent. Let's find ourselves coming into kneeling here for Virasana, Hero's Pose. Standing up on our knees, we're going to come into Camel Pose next. If you'd like, you can go ahead and grab some blocks, keep them by the side if you need a little bit of support coming into a Camel Pose. You can go ahead and drop yourself this way. You may use your hands to send your shoulders back. Remember, you want to bend from the shoulders, not send the pelvis forward, but bending from the top of the body here. You may also fully extend. So however you'd like to take your Camel Pose, let's inhale. Exhale, finding ourselves coming into our extension of Camel Pose. I think I'll use my blocks tonight. Opening up the chest, dropping the head to the back if it's within your practice, but keeping the elbows from the ears, keeping your pelvis, keeping your pelvis in that neutral tilt. You may even keep yourself down, coming into your Camel Pose this way. Let's keep holding here 4 more breaths. And let's exhale, slowly rolling ourselves up one vertebrae at a time until our head is the last thing to come up, seeing ourselves here. Let's find ourselves extending our arms out in front of us, coming into an extended tabletop. Let's take an inhale, opening our knees out a little bit wide here. Exhale, drop the chest to the mat, dropping the chin, coming into that puppy pose. Once more, but this time wide-legged. Exhale, stretching open the chest, opening the body. Hold here for 5 breaths. And let's inhale, finding ourselves in our tabletop once more. Let's bring our knees in here. Keep ourselves in our tabletop. Curl those toes. Let's take a deep inhale. And as we exhale, let's send our hips up into the sky. Let's come into our downward dog here. And remember, do you want to drop the chest, placing your, kind of almost sending your belly to the top of your thighs here, letting your chest drop to the floor. You don't want to roll yourself out like that, dropping here. Let's just slowly open up those feet by walking the dog there, flexing those toes and ankles, breathing deeply. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Body check, make sure that we're dropping the chest, relaxing the head, holding the core in, pulling the belly button to the spine. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. And our last inhale, let's inhale, sending the right leg up into the sky. Exhale, placing that foot between the toes, between the hands, excuse me. Let's inhale, coming up, sending ourselves warrior 2. Let's keep breathing as we keep our knees and toes tracking in the same direction. Turning to face the right hand, keeping that back arm parallel. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Let's take one last breath. Let's inhale, sending our palm up and overhead. Exhaling, coming into revolved warrior. Let's inhale, straightening that leg out, sending our arms back forward. Let's turn to face forward here as we walk ourselves over to the left side. Let's keep our arms as we bend that knee, coming into warrior 2 on the left side. Let's keep breathing here, nice and focused. And just as before, let's inhale, sending that left arm this time up to the sky, the right down the leg, coming into revolved warrior here. Keep those hips straight and squared to the front, breathing into the belly. Let's straighten up those legs again, sending our arms to a T. Let's turn our feet to face the front once more. Let's inhale, sending our arms behind us, clasping the hands behind us. Let's exhale, dropping our chest, coming into our wide forward fold. If this is not within your practice today, you may place your hands on your mat or on your hips or even on a block extended before you. But relax your shoulders, sending them down from your ears. Let's hold here 5 breaths. Oop. Excellent. Let's release the hands, sending them down to the mat or to the ankles. Let's inhale slowly, pulling ourselves up, using our One vertebrae at a time, our head to be the last one, sending our arms up overhead. Let's come into a wide back bend here. Let's send our hands behind our head, kind of coming into a stargazer pose. Let's go ahead and sway the hips, gently opening that chest, facing towards the sky. Hold it here for 5 breaths. Excellent. Let's release. Shaking out our hands, let's heel toe ourselves coming into our mountain pose. Take our hands, placing them back into that mudra that we had in our lotus mudra earlier today. Let's find ourselves in mountain pose. Feet hip width apart. Let's make sure we're in proper alignment here. Keeping our pelvis tilted, shoulders back and down, shoulder points, or rib points over shoulder points. Mudra pose. Let's just think back to the intentions we set today in class. And our intentions we spoke about earlier today. Let's see if we can send an affirmation or a love intention to someone that you may know that might need it. Send a little bit of good energy their way. Maybe a little bit of forgiveness. Maybe that forgiveness should go to yourself. But let's hold here in this pose. You may sway along to the music if you'd like. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Excellent. Find ourselves slowing down, coming into one of my favorite poses, Radhasana, or King Dancer pose. And how we can cue it up today, it's entirely up to you. We are going to start on the right side. Let's find ourselves coming into balance on our left foot. Let's keep that right foot arched and flexed behind us. Finding a good spot for our hands to the side. Let's slowly curl that foot, bringing our right foot up to our bottom. Let's grab that ankle here. And now, if this is within your practice and how you would like to hold your King Dancer pose, please go right ahead, extending that hand a little bit forward if you would like to have a little bit of counterbalance. Now, if you like to extend a little bit farther forward, losing my balance, go ahead and invert your flip, grabbing the inside of the ankle. Inhale, bending the knee, and as you exhale, begin to send yourself forward, kicking that foot into that hand as you pull that foot towards your body with the hand, coming into our King Dancer pose. Let's breathe here, holding for 5 breaths. Whoop. And remember, if you drop out of the pose, no worries. Just get yourself right back in there. Keep holding the pose. See if you can get a little bit lower with each exhale. It's a wonderful balance pose. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Whoop. Let's take our last breath in. Let's exhale, bringing ourselves coming into center. Whew. Rolling our arms on our shoulders, finding ourselves coming into that balance here. Let's do it on the other side here with our left leg, finding ourselves balancing on our right. Keep that foot down. Slowly go into your King Dancer of choice. Use your opposite arm, remember, as a counterbalance, flexing that foot. Let's kick ourselves up into our King Dancer, holding here for 5 breaths. And as you can see, even the yoga teachers have a rough days with King Dancer. So if you're finding yourselves falling out of it, it's totally fine. I do too. Some days I'm in, some days I'm out. Let's keep holding here for 3 more breaths. Excellent. I'm just going to release myself here from the King Dancer, holding here for 1 more breath. Let's find ourselves exhaling, standing a little bit with our legs wide out to the sky. Let's inhale, sending those arms up, and exhale, sending ourselves down, coming into our Malasana. And you may sit on a block here. We're just going to use this pose as a lovely grounding pose to cool. Excellent. Let's find ourselves transitioning down to mat. Coming into cobbler pose, taking the feet, soles of the feet, placing them together. And I'm going to just turn this way so that you can see what I'm doing. But let's spread the flesh of the sits bones to the side, just as always. Let's inhale, sending that chest up and forward. Exhale, bringing our chest forward and down as we come into this cobbler's pose here, holding our ankles, sending the chest forward. You want to lead with the chest. Let's breathe here, holding it for 5 breaths. Almost as if we're thrusting our chest out into the world. And with our last exhale, let's inhale ourselves up. Exhale those legs out straight in front of us here. Let's scooch ourselves forward, finding our backs on the mat with our feet on the mat as well, keeping our knees bent. Let's keep our arms to the side of our body. We're going to come into our bridge pose, so you may slowly get into that by inhaling, curling that pelvis, coming up off the mat. And if it is within your practice, go ahead and interlace your fingers underneath your body as we settle into our bridge pose. Let's hold here, 5 breaths. And make sure you send your knees outward, externally rotating those thigh bones here, keeping our bottom up off the ground. Closing those transverse, using our transverse abdominals. Two more breaths. Take one last inhale. Exhale as you send your arms open if they've been clasped, finding ourselves vertebrae by vertebrae coming down to the mat. Now let's hold here for a moment, and then we're going to get to one of my favorite advanced poses, the wheel pose. And it's a very interesting and tricky pose that a lot of people see on Instagram or in social media, and they're trying to figure out how to get into it. Now, you may curl yourself back into a wheel pose, or you may come off of it onto a mat. And to do that, you want to keep your feet on the ground just as you would for a bridge pose, heels close to the bottom. You want to take your hands and almost turn them so you want your fingers to face your shoulders, sending the elbows up to the sky. You want to just go ahead and start with the heels, pushing the hips off of the ground, coming up into a bridge pose. So you want to start bottom first with your heels. If not, you won't be able to get quite up. But let's inhale ourselves, exhaling, fully extending into our wheel pose. If you'd like, you can go ahead and take a second bridge pose as we hold here. But let's keep breathing here for 5 breaths, dropping the head, letting the head be able to relax and flow. Remember to keep externally rotating your knees, sending the power through the knee bones. 2 more breaths. And with our last breath, let's take an inhale. And as we exhale, slowly bend your elbows, curling your body, starting from the head. Same way, reversing all the way down, just as we did for a bridge. Excellent. Let's wiggle out those wrists, because that is a bit of a wrist move there. Excellent. Let's find ourselves inhaling those knees into the chest. Let's grab our ankles or our feet, exhaling, coming into our happy baby pose. Using this last pose to open up our hips before we come into our Shavasana this evening. Excellent. Let's extend the legs down to the mat, releasing the arms and legs, dropping to the side. Go ahead and softly flutter your eyes closed, coming into our Shavasana. And before we come up, I think I'm going to share with you 2 readings from the Daily Stoic today. The first one is on opinions. It reads, "What is bad luck? Opinion. What are conflict, dispute, blame, accusation, irreverence, and frivolity? They are all opinions. And more than that, they are opinions that lie outside of our own reasoned choice, presented if they were good or evil. Let a person shift their opinions only to what belongs in their field of their own choice, and I guarantee that person will have peace of mind, whatever is happening around them." Repetitious. Opinions. Everyone's got one. Think about all the opinions you have about whether today's weather is convenient, about what liberals and conservatives believe, about whether so-and-so's remark is rude or not, about whether you're successful or not, and on and on. We're constantly looking at the world around us and putting our opinion on top of it. And our opinion is often shaped by dogma, either religious or cultural, entitlements, expectations, and in some cases, ignorance. No wonder we feel upset and angry so often. What if we let these opinions go? Let's try weeding, ecotypian, or cutting out or knocking out. Let's try weeding them out of our lives so that things simply are. Not good or bad, not colored with opinion or judgment, just are. And one last one before we come up, our sphere of impulses. Epictetus says we must discover the missing art of ascent and pay special attention to the sphere of our impulses. That they are subject to reservation, to the common good, and that they are in proportion to actual worth. Marcus Aurelius. Here we have the emperor, the most powerful man in the world, quoting in his diary the wisdom of a former slave. And from what we know, Marcus might have had his direct notes from Epictetus' lectures via one of his former students. That wisdom was ultimately about surrender and serving the common good, about the limits of our power and the importance of checking our impulses, something every person in authority needs to hear. Power and powerlessness seem so rarely to enter the same orbit, but when they do, it can change the world. Think about President Abraham Lincoln meeting with, corresponding with, and learning from Frederick Douglass, another former slave of considerable wisdom and insight. In any case, all those men live by the principles expressed here, that in our lives, whether we are experiencing great power or powerlessness, it's critical to leave room for what may happen and keep the common good and the actual worth of things front and center. And, above all, be willing to learn from anyone and everyone, regardless of their station in life. And with that, I'd like for you to invite some movement into your body by wiggling your fingers and toes. Slowly find yourself rolling to one side, cradling your head in your arm for just a brief moment. Let's inhale, finding ourselves coming up to seated here. Sending our arms up overhead, exhaling our hands into our prayer mudra. Well, thank you very much for coming to class this evening. It was wonderful to have you all here. I hope you feel wonderful and relaxed and a little bit more heart opened as you move about the week. If you enjoyed this Hatha Yoga class, come see me again here Mondays at 5 p.m. Or if you prefer a morning class, come see me here 8 a.m. Saturdays, Pacific Standard Time, where we do another Hatha class, except we are opening up the body, getting ready for the day to take on the weekend. And as always, I would like to say to you, thank you once more for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll send you out by saying, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light you wish to see in the world. Because everyone has gotten a little bit of light under the sun. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Have a good night, everybody.